Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Turnbull's Threads and I'm Kathy, your host. I live in Ames, Iowa, and this is a channel mostly focused on my crafting. So cross stitch and knitting will be the main focuses. Some other things show up. I have a couple this week. So let's see. I think I covered like the main channel things, right? Who I am, where I am, what I'm doing. If you can't tell, it's autumn now, so I'm getting to actually wear some of the knits that I've made. So like right now I have on the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry. It's wonderful, love it, very warm. Likewise, I also have my cat cardigan, which a couple of videos earlier I finished. So, with that said, I think I'm ready to start. So, the way most of these channels work is we start off with things we finished, then we go to things that we're working on, and then we go to plans if we have any. And then some people put in all their haul. I just put in things that like feel special that I need to talk about. I have one thing this week. But it's been a little while. I have some really large piles because it is November and I'm doing something very similar to what I did in May. Yeah. So if you want to see a whole bunch of starts, just wait around once we get into the whips because I have a ton right now. So first things first, finishes, completed items. So I do have a couple of completed items, rephrase. Some things are completely finished, but it's not cross stitch. So we'll start off with the cross stitch since it's on top of my pile. So I finished 3 mill hull kits since the last time we talked. I enjoy mill hull kits with the perforated paper. I know this can be an unpopular opinion. Those people who do not like perforated paper, if you would like to get rid of it, I would happily take it. So the first one that I did was this guy. Oh boy, the lighting is going to be so fun with this. It's getting to autumn and so it's really dark outside. So I have some artificial light here and yeah, it's gonna be fun. You might be able to see it a little bit better there. So it's a Christmas gift that is a beaded mill hull kit. This one was actually really interesting because in addition to the beads, like there's almost no cross stitch whatsoever in this ornament. There's some cross stitch in the handle on the basket and that's about it. They use satin stitch for the top of it. They use a specialty stitch for like the brown on the centers and then everything else is beaded and there's a bunch of back stitch. So I think there's probably less than 15 cross stitches in this entire piece. Just goes to show you that that whatever kits you have, you may be doing little to no cross stitch actually. This was actually a ton of fun. I enjoyed doing this. The specialty stitches were really neat. And then they had some interesting like bead finishes where you go ahead and you bead like the bow on the basket and then you had beads that went over it and you had little dangly beads. So this was fun. I enjoyed doing this one. So first finish. The second finish that I have for my mill hull kits is this one. So this is Octy. It's a little octopus. This one was most of the mill hull kits end up being work pieces that I work on during meetings or doing like online training, etc. And yeah, this one was a fun one. It was a lot bigger than some of the other mill hull kits that I've done, but I enjoyed it. It's really cute. And who doesn't love a good octopus? They're so smart. Like, they can open jars by themselves. They can escape. They turn colors. What is not to love about an octopus? So, that's number 2. And then the third mail haul kit that I finished, I did take some liberties. Because this is going to be one of my Christmas gifts to my sisters/sister-in-laws. So all 3 of them enjoy coffee. So I found 3 mail haul kits that I have that are coffee hot drink centric. So I'm doing them as ornaments, even if they're originally like magnets. I'm changing them all to ornaments, so they'll all get a cross stitch ornament this year from me. So that means I have a little bit to do before December 25th. Thankfully, I decided to do all mail haul kits and like not full pieces, because like I can do a mail haul kit pretty fast. That's not usually an issue. A full piece may or may not get done. So the third piece that I have finished is this guy. So it's a little mug and really cute. And my modification is actually the beaded hanging part. So because it originally was supposed to be a magnet, that's all it has instructions for. But I have done a number of mail haul kits at this point. I know how there's like about how long their thing is. The only problem is because it didn't originally come as an ornament, it didn't have enough of any one color to be the beads. So instead, will we focus closer? Maybe. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So instead of doing one color, I did a pattern on the beads to try and get it to not use up all of them and still keep it in pattern. And it worked out actually really well. So quite happy with how this turned out. So I do need to finish the back on this. Not that the back doesn't look bad like it is right now, but yes, I do want to put felt or some type of backing on it so that it looks nicer. And then I'll have one Christmas present done. 2 more to go. So those are my mail haul kits that I finished. I did manage to finish some actual cross stitch. I don't know if this first one, if I've actually shown it on the channel. This may have been a start and a finish from the last time I filmed. Or if I did, I just started it. So this is a pattern by the primitive Hare called Few Have Died. And so this is what it looks like. So I do want to finish this off and have this in my dining area / kitchen because it's fun. It's a semi-Halloween piece, right? So you've got the skull and it has many have eaten here, few have died. And I actually have had a number of people at least eat my food, if not have actually eaten with me. So true statement. Many have eaten here, few have died. I did modify this pattern a little bit, so I didn't use any of the called for threads. I switched out, rephrase. Rephrase. I did use one called for, which was the back stitch. So the white is, I think, white tin or DMC 1, I want to say. And I kept that because I had that DMC. But I think it was Weeks Dyeworks colors that they called for, I switched up. So I used a DMC 3799, I believe, for the skull and all of the gray detailing. And then the variegated floss is originally green in the called for pattern, but I didn't want to do that. So I ended up using Aurora by Bestitch Me. I thought it was good. It has like the Halloweenish, spooky kind of color palette, but kind of fun too. So like the little cauldrons are bubbling in green and purple, and you have little pops of color in there. So I do need to fully finish this, but quite happy. Finish! My second finish, I can't remember if this was a finish that's last floss tube or not, so I'm going to show it because then I will know I have finished. I have showed it to everyone. I know I showed it in my cross-stitch finishes, but I'm not sure if I showed it finished in a floss tube makers episode. Maybe, maybe not. If I have, still very happy with it. So my own design, it's a backstitch with a lady using, what did I use? I used the Bestitch Me variegated floss. I think it's Royal Games on just a scrap piece of linen even weave, something like that I had around. It has basically words that summarize the woman from Proverbs 31, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Nice black stitch piece. I have a number of other things that I've designed-ish that I need to stitch. So that was the second and my last and final finish, which I'm very happy with, is one of the ones that I started in May. So Mira May, I started a new piece every day for May. So I have now finished one of my Miras. It's a teeny tiny one. So this is Nora's stocking. It's a free pattern on Mirabilia Designs. It's obviously pretty small. It uses, though, a surprising number of colors. There are a lot of different colors that are used in this, but she did a really good job with like designing it and everything. And I don't know that I have much else to say. It's all DMC. So that is nice. There's no special, like you don't have any silks that are used for it. There's no beads that are used for it. It is just DMC stitching, which is a really nice one. And I did this with a 28 count Jobelin lamb's wool. I did like working on this piece. So this was one of the series of small cuts that I got at one point to see what things I liked stitching on. I do like 28 count, found out. This was a fun piece to stitch on, so enjoy it, would use again. I think I ended up stitching this in the well or in the ditch, depends on how you decide to call it. I wouldn't do it for every piece, but I think for ones where you know you're going to be near the edge, like you don't have a ton of space around your sides and you know you're going to be stitching near the edges a lot on it, I think it's a really good way to put your hoops so that you get those stitches where you want them to be. And it makes it a lot easier to hide the thread in the back after, because yeah, that can be a pain if you don't. I don't think I have anything else to say about this one. Enjoyed it. Some of the colors were surprising, but like once you see the finished product, you're like, oh, I get it now. That was good. So yeah, this is my last finished cross stitch piece. So now that we have finished talking about cross stitch finishes, we'll transition into knitting finishes. And I do actually have a couple of those. So the first three that I have finished are all the same thing. So Um, I have 3 baby beanies. So our local hospital has a volunteer program, and they ask for volunteers in a lot of different things, like things you didn't necessarily expect. So one of the things want volunteers for is knitting. They also actually have sewing volunteers. So if you are in Story County, Iowa, and happen to stumble across this, and you have either sewing or knitting skills, there are opportunities to volunteer at Mary Greeley Hospital, in case you wanted to know. So they do basically try and give every newborn that's born at the hospital a beanie. So I found out about the volunteer program, and it was fairly simple questionnaire that you basically have to sign out, and then they have you go in and actually talk with the person, sign paperwork, and then they give you the yarn that you're supposed to use, and you go forth and create. So I've managed to get 3 done. I am hoping to continue doing this, where I'm getting because this is averaging about 1 a week, which I think is a decent amount. So I do need to fully finish these. They need little pom-poms, and then I need to put in, they sent me home with some labels for the hats. But yeah. So I don't know what other places do around the country, but I'm sure that there are definitely some opportunities where, if you are interested and you enjoy crafting, there are probably some opportunities where you can go and volunteer your expertise in an area and help out, like a local charity or the hospital. I know I've heard people talk about like people who knit and crochet cat beds and stuff for shelters, because those get used up a ton. I don't know of anything specifically cross-stitch related, so I can't necessarily give you any recommendations for where to volunteer cross-stitch wise, but knitting and crochet, and probably also sewing, like your local animal shelter or maybe your local hospital or hospice care, all would probably be more than willing to have something made with your skill donated. So here's the plug. Especially since it's now November, so Thanksgiving is coming up soon. And in remembering what we're thankful for, it's always nice to also give back, right? So volunteering is something that, I don't know, I personally feel like I should volunteer at least somewhat in my community, helping out my community. Anyway, so first 3 finished objects for knitting. Yay! Okay, try again. My memory card ran out of memory, so new memory card in. Let's try this again. I'm gonna have to remember to go through and take out the bottom. Okay, so the next finished object that I have, talked about the baby beanies, is actually a beanie for me. So this is the Lighthouse beanie by Veronika Lindberg, also known as Kuruvakika. It's a really interesting beanie because you knit it as a tube. I didn't knit it quite long enough. This end over here should be longer so that it fits better. I think it's about 1 inch too short. But it works. It's fine. It's not like anyone notices. And I was running out of my second color of mohair. So it's knit using a strand of wool and 2 strands of mohair. And as you can tell, I ran out of the one color. Well, I can't tell if you can see it on screen. Ah, there you go. So at the very crown, you can tell that I ran out of the pine green that I had, and so I was just using 2 strands of the other color of mohair that I used for this, which is more of like a teal kind of color. So yes, I was running out of yarn. It was as long as it needed to be, but yes, it's a little too short on top. What can you do? Anyways, so you basically make a tube, you close up ends, and then to wear it, you flip the tube inside out. Eee. So you got 2 layers, and then you have this really long brim, because that would look like a very silly hat. So then you flip your brim up. So you end up with 2 layers of hat on top, plus 4 layers at the brim area, so your ears should be really, really, really warm. And you wear it like this. And it's super warm because it is 2 strands of mohair plus wool, and it's double or quadruple layered. So your head is going to be toasty, which I am very happy about because it is turning into winter here. Yay! So yeah, today was cold. Like cold and rainy. It's been very dreary, and we're just getting started. It's winter. Anyways, I did enjoy knitting this. This was really fun. It did take forever though. It took a lot longer than I was expecting. Probably because it's like the tube, so it's really long. But I am looking forward to getting to wearing this. I am looking forward to wearing this winter because it should be really nice for keeping my head warm, which I like. And then the final thing that I knit was a test knit. It is now published. It just got published on Thursday, I think. And so this here is the Chartres cowl. Oh, look at the bees, they sparkle. So I knit this using Malabrigo sock yarn in the color Wales Road. You can tell that it is a very lovely variegated yarn that has like dark blue and light blue and like a tealy color as well as purple in it. And then the pattern has a good bit of lace work in it. And the person who designed it, Lori Wagner, she talks about it being inspired by the Chartres Cathedral. And like the different sections correspond with like the architecture of a cathedral. And she also has you do some beadwork where you add beads to your piece here at the bottom. And just because of how the lace work works, you end up blocking so that you end up with kind of like a wave with points at the top and at the bottom. It's a really lovely piece. I have worn it once already. I look forward to wearing it a bit more. Yeah. It was a fun piece. So that is all of the knits that I've completed. That's not all the stuff that I have finished though. Here's some Christmas presents for my semi-nieces and nephews. So my cousins have had kids, right? And so I am making Christmas presents for them. And the babies I'm gonna give like little stuffies to. But the older kids have all gotten a variety of gifts. So I was like, okay, I don't want to like keep making different things every year for the different age groups and doing it that way. Like you could do it that way, but that's just going to be a pain for me to remember what I'm supposed to get them each year. So it's like, okay, all of them are going to get the same thing this year. And I was thinking about it, and what I ended up doing is this. So they're all getting a no-sew blanket. Isn't it cute? And then I'm going ahead and embroidering their initial on it. This one I did put a little bit close to the edge. I'm trying to do better about getting it the right one, but each of them, I've gotten 3 out of the 5 that I need done for it. So all of the boys are done. So I have this green one with dinosaurs on it with an A. And I have this green one with lizards on it with a C. And then I have a teal one with planets. And we've got another A. So I have 2 more of these to go, and I will be done with nieces and nephews for Christmas. And I am so far ahead on these, right? Because the big holiday with my family has always been Thanksgiving. So all of the aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents usually get together for Thanksgiving. Christmas is more of a, like, your individual family does that. You go out of town, you do your own thing for Christmas. But Thanksgiving, everyone typically shows up. Now that all of us cousins are getting older and some of us are married and you have to balance different families, it's not, you might not get all of the cousins, but this year I think we're getting most. There might be 2 people. Well, 2 families. 2 families of the cousins that don't show up to our family Thanksgiving. So most of them will be there. I probably won't see them for Christmas, so I want to have them done and brought with me. That way I can give them to the parents and be like, here's your Christmas presents. Distribute as you want. Yeah. So that is all of my finished objects. So I think we're about 30 minutes in and I just finished talking about finished. The next thing that we're going to talk about is my works in progress, and I have a few. Okay. So, works in progress. I've touched a bunch of things so far. Let's show you the first thing that I did that is very small. So this, I only put in like a row or 2 on it, but this is the Mysterium by Dear Ingenue. It's going to be a short sleeve shirt. It's knit with a cotton yarn. Fun variation. Variegation, not variation. I have a long way to go on this. I think I still need, this is supposed to be like 9 inches or so. I'm close, not quite there. Yeah, I think I only did like 2 or 3 rows on this. Not a ton, but I did touch it since the last time I filmed one of these. So it deserves to get added in. The next thing that I worked on was the Adventures backpack. I would really like to work on this some more, but this one is rough on my fingers, so I don't like working on it because I'm using it calls for very small needles, and you're holding a sport weight yarn double for this section. Like once I'm out of this section, it'll be easier, but the bottom and sides needs to be sturdy, so they double up the yarn. It makes sense. It just kills my hands working with it, kills my fingertips working with it, so I don't like working with it for a long time. So it is slow going. But I have a good chunk of it done. I think I'm almost halfway with my sides and base of my backpack, but I have to read the pattern to figure that out. Yep, so that's that one. The next thing that I have in progress is actually my most recent cast on, but it's smaller, so I'm going to pull it up first. So it is this here. It is a test knit, the Mosaic hat. I may have questions on this one. We shall see. But it's so you do full fisherman's rib, and then there's a mosaic pattern at the top. It's a test knit for someone. I'm wondering if I didn't hit gauge with this, but even if I did hit gauge, this feels really like I am knitting the size small. I think they have some issues with their pattern. I could be wrong. Could be just that my gauge is totally off. Entirely possible. I could have just really bad gauge. But yeah. I feel like this is super small. Oh well. It is. I'll keep knitting it and see where this goes. But like just the number count, I feel like it's off. I could be wrong, but it feels off. Who knows? I'll have to continue working this pattern a little bit to find more. But a good way to use up some of my yarn. And then the last two things that I have to show you are two sweaters that I started. So I started the Oatmeal sweater by Veronika Lindberg. So there's a Kudavakika SAL going on Instagram. I saw it, asked to join it. They said yes. I've knit a couple of things by her for it already. So the Lighthouse beanie is finished. But this was the second thing that I wanted. Oh, I think I showed it last time. I think I showed the completed falling flowers. If not, it's in the wash, so it's not coming out anyways. If I haven't shown that one on here, I'll insert a finished picture at the end, because I know I have some of those. Anyways, so this is the sweater that I started right after I had finished that one. And I'm loving it so far. It's so many cables and it's so much fun. So I'm doing it in this really dark purple color and it's so textured. So the first thing that you do is the back panel. So it'll actually end up being like this and it'll go down. So I knit down to the armhole and then I picked up the front. I did make a mistake, so I'm going to have to mirror it on the other side when I picked up. So I picked up and I immediately started this cable here because I was looking at the wrong chart. I was looking at the chart for all of the sizes bigger than the one that I'm knitting. And they actually have that included and they pick up like an extra 2 stitches on there and I didn't because I'm not knitting that size. But that does mean that I'm going to need to mirror this on the other side unless I want it to look weird. So we're gonna knit from the wrong chart on the other side too. Isn't this exciting? It'll be fine. It ends up the same number of stitches across. It's just started out with the wrong number. Yeah, because actually the cabling pattern for like the different sizes, where is it? From like here to here, where my finger is here to here, that is going to remain the same, I think, no matter which size you end up knitting, but your texture stuff on these two sides, that will change. So if you're knitting a bigger size, you get more of it. Yeah. Enjoy it. I'm very, very, very close to finishing this side, and then I get to pick up and do the other side. So fun. It's so fun. I love Veronika Lindberg's patterns. She does a really good job of writing engaging, interesting patterns. So if you are a knitter, go and check her out. Like, she has a ton of patterns out, and actually she came out with a new book. So I think I'm putting that on my Christmas list. We'll see if anyone gets it for me, but I will at least put it on my Christmas list. If I don't get it, I'll buy it myself, but maybe someone else will buy it for me. I'll be very happy. And then the final thing that I've been working on is I have another sweater. I have a different sweater. So it is this one, the Easy V. This is actually the sweater that I bought the yarn for it from the shop in New Orleans. So this is my New Orleans sweater. Yeah. New Orleans now has a place in my heart. It's what happens when you live near there for 5 years. I picked up the yarn down there. Got a marginal start on it. Ended up having to actually rip out that start because I used the wrong needles. I was very annoyed. So I did some things wrong with the needles, had to rip it out, started again, and got it right the second time around. But this one is a V-neck, as you can tell, with color work. So this is what I've got. I have now all of the colors in the sweater now. And I am so happy with my color choices. They look so good together. So like this tan color is my main color, and then I have a teal blue color with a white, like orangey red, and then a very purple color at the bottom. Oh, it's looking so good, and I'm getting back into color work, which is fun. Remembering how to manage all of that, yay, floats. So yeah, got a good start on it. I am not quite halfway through the chart, but I am almost at where I pick up with the blue again, and then each of these colors repeats one more time. So that's exciting. I am enjoying it a ton. Hopefully by the next time I show this, I will at least have finished the yoke, if not finish the sweater. It would be awesome if I could finish the sweater, but let's be real. I have a ton of things going on. So that is all of my knitting works in progress. Oof. No. Yes. All of my knitting works in progress. That's not all of my works in progress. It's just knitting. I have cross-stitch knits works in progress, and I have many cross-stitch works in progress. Yes, I need to remember to plan to do a cross-stitch whip parade at the end of this year, beginning of next, because there's gonna be a ton of things on there. I keep increasing the number of whips I have. Oh, all of you people on FlossTube, you are very great enablers. This is wonderful and awful at the same time. Anyways, so let's get on with my works in progress, or my whips. So I have to pull things over. I did move I like separate piles. It's so much fun. So the first thing that I have is, you remember when I was talking about my sisters getting their own ornaments, right? So I finished the one ornament and it was time to pull out the next ornament. So I have started it. So this is the pattern. It is To Go by Milhel, and I just started it, so I have mostly just the white background on it started. Yeah, I need to work on it a little. I need to work on it a lot. But it shouldn't be too hard. I enjoy Milhel kits. They're fun. They're quick. They make me happy. They're good Christmas gifts. So that's the first work in progress that I have. The next work in progress that I have, I actually did a ton of. So I got a Roilis. If someone knows how to pronounce this, feel free to let me know where to find out how to pronounce this. I think it's a Russian. I think it's a Russian or a Ukrainian, probably Russian though. Craft kit. And so I got it and I didn't realize that it was a woolen acrylic instead of a cotton floss. And let me tell you, I actually really love the wool acrylic floss that they include in this over the cotton floss. It's somewhat similar to like Dimensions, where they actually like have a bunch of techniques that are going on. So like you might be using one strand, you might be using two strand to kind of create the 3D effects. You're using backstitch. I think there's some French knots that get thrown in there and some other embroidery techniques depending on like what your project is. Anyways, I have gotten pretty far on it actually. So, well, pretty far. I got a decent chunk done. So I have finished the compass section. And I am so happy with it. It was a ton of fun to do. It's all backstitched. All of the different ones are in. I am so happy with it. And now I gotta move the hoop. So this is part of the reason why I'm doing this floss tube right now, is because like I want to move the hoop, and when I move the hoop, you're not going to be able to see what I've finished, because the hoop's going to go on top of it. And if you haven't figured out from my previous videos, I don't bother taking hoops off of projects. Are you insane? No, we leave the hoops in the projects. We don't do things. We are not nice people. We are people who can't have nice things. I'm too lazy to go through and iron all of these. And as you can tell, I have a ton of projects, so I don't have the time to go through and iron out all of these projects. But yeah, so that is what I've gotten done. So happy with it. It has been a ton of fun so far. So now I get to move it. And I'm thinking I'm going to move down into the southern part. Maybe try and get some of the summer autumny kind of stuff done. And then eventually work my way up into winter. And we'll end on spring summer side. So yeah, we're going to start going south and then move west. Yep. So, second work in progress. It has been getting a ton of work on from me, surprisingly enough. The next thing I showed last time, so it's the Prairie School, or book number 4, the Breman Town Musicians. Man, this is old. So, just noticed on the back when it tells you like what publications are available for this, There's only 13. Yeah, I know that's not true, but cool. Anyway, so this is a belt pull that I'm doing because it came with the fabric, so why not? So I had finished the outlines, and then this last time I worked on it, and I worked with one color, and I've got some of the letters and numbers finished, as well as the coxcomb. So it definitely needs some more work, but I haven't done it yet. So that was that one. The next one that I have here, I think this is... No, I need to dig for another one before I start my long list of new starts that you get to see. So this is Evanora by Nora Corbett. It's a companion piece to Claire, which I finished earlier this year. Claire was done on a light purple. This one's done on a dark green. I really love the look of this piece. I love how it's turning out, very much what I was expecting. However, it is on a very dark green, and so it is not a typical easy one to do without a ton of light. So I think I need to go ahead and work on this on Fridays, actually. So we have a local needle workshop, or LNS as people refer to them as here in Ames, the Prairie Rose Needle Workshop. She sells a bunch of different cross stitch and cross stitch needlepoint. I think it's what it is. I think it's needlepoint. Supplies and things in there, and she has a number of like come stitch days times, and every Friday she has it open she had like stitchy table open from 4 to 6. So if you're in Ames, Iowa, feel free to come and join everybody on Friday in the evening to go and stitch. But she has a wonderfully white table and very bright white light, so it's great for stitching. And I think with the change in weather and patterns and the fact that I can't really do this in my apartment at night, it really does need natural light, and if it's going to be gray and dreary like it is today, that's not going to help me stitch on it at all. So I might need to start pulling this out for that. So, I think I have two more, I think, projects that I want to talk about before I talk about all of the other starts. Yes, I have two more. Let me pull them up. Nope, 3. I lied. Okay. So, the next thing that I want to talk about is not technically cross-stitch. It's cross-stitch close. Let me pull up the first page. Here we go. So, if you watch FlossTube, you've probably been at some point introduced to thread gremlins. If I'm the first first floss knitting podcast kind of thing that you're watching, there are a ton out there. I will be talking about some later on. Go find those people and watch them. They're amazing, wonderful, love watching them. Anyways, back to who I was talking about. So, let me see. Caroline, Amy, and Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth from the Thread Gremlins. She's a very experienced cross-stitcher, embroidery, etc. kind of person. Nope, 3. I lied. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is not technically cross stitch. It's cross stitch close. Let me pull up the first page. Here we go. So if you watch FlossTube, you've probably been at some point introduced to thread gremlins. If I'm the first first floss knitting podcast kind of thing that you're watching, there are a ton out there. I will be talking about some later on. Go find those people and watch them. They're amazing, wonderful. Love watching them. Anyways, back to who I was talking about. So, let me see. Caroline, Amy, and Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth from the Thread Gremlins. She's a very experienced cross-stitcher, embroidery, etc. kind of person. Which is kind of this. You can't super tell well. So it's called 100 Circles, and it's by the Steady Thread. And it's basically a black stitch sampler. And they use different colors to make up the different circles, and each circle is a different black stitch work pattern as well as being a different color. And it looks really cool at the very end. So I saw that and was like, ooh, I want to try this. This looks like a ton of fun. So I got the pattern, and I have, I think, all of the threads. But I didn't want to do it on white. So a number of people had said, oh, it's kind of hard to see, especially the light colors on white. And it's like, okay, I don't want to do it on white, and I don't know if I have a piece big enough. Like, what pieces do I have around that would be a good fit for it? So I chose to do it on black. Yeah, so I'm doing it on a black 14 count Ada. It's black, at least it's Ada. I'm gonna say this, it is Ada, so I can see it even in my apartment because it's got big holes. And so as long as I have something white behind it, I can see where I need to put my needle. But it is actually really causing so the colors are popping so good on it. I am so happy with that color choice. So I've been doing like one a day, and I've gotten 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 are done. So hopefully I can keep this speed up, and so if I do one a day, it's 100 days, so I don't know when I started it, but there's like 30 days in November, there's 31 days in December, so that's 61, 31 in January, so 92. So by the end of February of next year, I should have this done if I continue to do one a day. Anyways, if you are interested in seeing so far daily progress on this, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Turnbull Threads on Instagram. I've been posting it in my story like, this is the one I did today, and I'm trying to throw in like, I hated it, or not bad, average, loved it, because like that block, that circle, hated it, don't ever really want to do that pattern again. The circle right beside it, loved it. That was so much fun. That circle, loved it. Average, kind of fun. Let's see. That one was super fun. Average, low end. So, like, there's definitely, I have feelings. I have feelings about these circles. So, yeah. Tune in. Well, by the time I actually get this up and uploaded and edited, it will probably have been a couple of days, so you will have seen some of these. And if you're catching this a little bit later, maybe I'll have finished it by the time you've watched this video. and you'll be so proud and happy to see the final piece. I will be so proud and happy to see the final piece. So yeah, one of the ones I wanted to talk about. Lots of fun. Enjoyed doing it. I've very much enjoyed doing it so far. So we'll see if we're going to keep this one up. It's going to happen. I am going to finish it. The next one that I worked on is this gal. So it's an Old Dimensions kit, the Angel of Harmony. And I am getting close to having to move my hoop. Yeah, I put in some of this blue up here, and I think some of the ribbon. Not as much as I probably could have, but as you can see, I've been working on a ton of things. So, such is life. Yep. Cute. Fun. I will probably be modifying, I may be modifying the French knots. We'll see. We'll see if I want to put beads on that instead. Stay tuned. Oh, I have two more projects before I get to talk about my big November plans. So the next one that I have is another Mill Hill kit, but this is a different size Mill Hill kit. This is a big Mill Hill kit. So this is Santa and the Cardinal Birdhouse. It's a Jim Shore ornament, and I've put in a good bit of progress on it. I have the Cardinal finished. Well, not finished. I have the Cardinal mostly done, and the Birdhouse, and Santa is almost done. I need to do his face. Face needs done, but yeah, it's going along. I'm almost at the beading stage. I have a couple of different colors to put in, and then I get to bead. So exciting stuff. I really do enjoy the Mill Hill kits. If you can't tell, I enjoy them. They're fun. So the last piece that before my really big long rant is this one. So Stephanie and Allison from Cross Stitch the Globe started a SAL called It Murder SAL, which they explain much better in the video that I've linked. I will link somewhere. That way you can actually go watch like what the SAL is. But succinctly, you take a pattern, you add murder elements to it. Doesn't matter how you do it. You could do it by making it super horror, thriller, creepy. You could do it by like making it like cozy detective novel. However you want to go about doing it, go ahead and somehow incorporate murderous things into it. And like the pattern that you're taking should be kind of like a cute, sweet-ish kind of thing. So I took that and I went, okay, I have a booklet from Told in the Garden by Marilyn Levitt Emblem, which has like bookmark motifs in it. So I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these bookmark motifs and like put them together, and taking inspiration from one of my favorite comedy mystery movies, Private Eyes, which is an older movie, has Don Knotts in it. Taking some of the characters and elements, putting it together, and doing like a collage called The Villainous Village. So, one of the things that I'm doing for it is I am including the words. So I have a chunk of Anus. So part of Villainous is done. And I started adding in my main character. So this is definitely off script, and Definitely I am going through and editing the patterns that I have, but I'm getting the greatcoat from the inspector, Don Knotts' inspector, who is a fumbling detective, but so funny to watch. And yeah, that's where I am on that one. I need to put more work in it. It's going to be very much off the cuff on this. She's got like flower border that's gonna get turned into bombs and probably poison flask kind of things. We'll see. I need to add more characters and such. But yeah, this is fun. That's my very, very creative one. Okay, so I still have a ton of things to show you. So it is November now. And there's this thing called Nora November. And a number of people have talked about it and been working on it. So I did participate in Mira May. I did kind of a Mira May madness thing. And we're doing a similar thing in November for Nora November. So I started a new Mira every day of May, which left me with 30 Mirabilia whips at the end of May. I've actually completed a couple. I've gotten 2? I know I've gotten at least 2 of those that I started in May done. So I'm really happy about that. I finished 2 things. But I have a bunch of Nora patterns now too. So I was like, okay, I want to get things started. Like, I have a bunch of whips, but it doesn't bother me that I have a bunch of whips. So I also I have so many patterns. I have so many pieces of cloth. Like, I have a bunch of fabric. Let's get some of this started at least. Like, get some stitches on, get things started, and then I can pull and basically do whatever I want whenever I want to. Yeah. So, I've been starting a new Nora every day of November. So today is the 9th. So I have 9 new whips. And like basically all I'm doing is putting in a thread. So I cut a piece of the DMC floss and I put that in. Generally it's 2 strands. You're doing it either over 2 or over 1. That gets put in and then I'm done for the day. And you can actually get a ton done that way. Started. So, let's start going through all 9 of these patterns. So the first one that I started with was Beautiful. So this is this pattern, NC 324, I believe. Yeah. So it's essentially just about K. I haven't gotten that far. I'm doing it on a Zweigart piece. Yeah, 18 count, and I just have the bottom couple of leaves done on it. So I'll be coming back to that at some point. The next one that I have, I think this is a witch elt. I have 2 pieces going on it, so it's a fat quarter, it can fit 2. So one of the pieces is, I believe this is Azalea. Let me check the name. Anemone. So Anemone from the Pixie collection by Nora Corbett. And I got that much done. And the other one that I have on this sheet, or this piece of fabric, is Chaffinch, the Audubon Street collection from Nora Corbett. So that one. And that's what I've gotten done on that. Yep. So first 3 down. The next one that I have is this gal. So this is Monk's Hood, Poison Pixie by Nora Corbett. And I threw this on a, what is this? Fiber on a Whim in the color Earth. And that's what I've gotten done on her. Yeah. The next one that I started, I'm actually converting her skin because I wanted to. So this is NC264, the Lily Pad Sprite. And do I have... Yeah, I have a sticky note in here which tells me what symbols and what colors I'm changing it to. So this is what I've gotten started. I changed her skin tone. So she's going to be... So she's really light pink, or a light color on this. This is going to put her a little bit darker. So... Yep, that I think I'm just gonna convert her skin. We'll see. We'll see what she looks like when I get there closer to it. But so far, I'm just converting her skin. This next one is Iris in the Pixie Couture collection. So I have to say I do love irises, and this is a gorgeous gown for her. So I am excited about this one. Very much so excited. This is on the Zweigart 18 count Ada. I don't remember what color it is, but it's like a printed Ada. And I just have that done. The next one that I have is Sola Tua in the La Petite Mermaids collection. And it is getting some conversion done. I'm not a huge fan of pink, and this one is very pink. So I'm actually changing her tail to a purple color because I think that'll go well with the rest of her. So I started out with the tail, and it's a light lavender instead of pink. Yep. The next one that I have is this, which is the Lily of the Valley from the Spring Garden Party collection in the Pixie Couture by Nora Corbett. I'm doing this on a fabric flare, let's see, what is it? Gray Fairy Dust. Gray Fairy Dust, I think it's a 14 count Ada. And there. That's what I've gotten done. So that'll be fun. Oof. And my last one of this is Letters from Mermaids. And I'm doing K. K for Kathy. And so the floss for this is all supposed to be Classic Colorworks. I'm not doing any Classic Colorworks. This is going to be totally converted. I am converting it to a DMC. But we'll see what exact colors I end up using. So I did this on Fiber on a Whim in the color Stream, and I got that far. Can you see it? There we go. Yeah. So I have a variegated DMC that I'm using for the center part, the K part of the center of the K, and we'll just continue on pulling other colors. It's gonna be fun. It will actually be kind of fun. So that is all of my current whips. By the end of November, I'm going to have another 21. So, watch next time to see all of the new whips that I have in life. I will go ahead and show you though. So that piece of cloth, the stream, I am going to do another Nora on the other side of it. So on this side, might as well show you that plan right now. Yeah, pull. So I'm gonna do Sunrise Laguna Mermaid on the other side. That's gonna be fun. That's tomorrow's. So speaking of plans, I have a number of plans, right? So I have the 2 other blankets that I need to do for the kiddos. Let me pull those up. So I have 2 girls left. So I have this one. It's gonna be cute. And I have this one. So one is gonna get an O on it and the other one's gonna get an L. So I have 2 more blankets to finish by Thanksgiving. 2 blankets to finish by Thanksgiving. I obviously want to get a number more of the baby beanies. I also need to do pom-poms and finish the 3 that I have. So, plans. I think this was a plans last time, still a plans this time. I want to make a hanging towel. I want to redo making another hanging towel. I have the stuff, I just need to get around to doing it. And then I have my final milk kit that needs to get done. So the last sister, she's gonna get that one. And since I'm doing coffee themed things for my sister/sister-in-laws, I do want to get the bookmark that I started for my mother finished. It is also coffee themed. So there may be a theme for most of the women in my family. Not me. Surprisingly enough, I'm not a huge fan of coffee. But my mother, my sister, my sister-in-laws, my grandmother all enjoy coffee. So, coffee-themed things tend to be very good gifts for people. So that. I have one last thing, which is both a kind of Stitchy Kindness gift plan thing. So on Instagram, I was reached out to by a company, the Poviltria. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. But she said she liked looking at my cross stitch that I had been posting on Instagram and what I consider getting one of her things and giving some feedback on it on Instagram and Amazon. And I was like, I felt very uncertain. I was like, is this a real thing? It is. She was legit. So happily she is legit. And yeah, I got my first thing from her. So it is this, the Winter Deer cross stitch kit. I have not opened it up yet. It is still sealed. I'm looking forward to doing this. This is, I needed to get something finished. What was I was like in the middle of something and I needed to get that finished before I open this up. But I plan on opening this up tonight and seeing what it looks like. Yeah, I'll let you know next time how I feel about it, if I enjoy it or not. I it looked really cute, so I think I will enjoy doing it. And it looks like a fairly quick stitch, so that's also really nice. And I'm interested to seeing like that, because I don't know if you can tell, like the stitching around the edges, I'm not sure how she's finishing it off, so I am looking forward to like seeing the instructions on that, because I think that could be really, really cool. Because I have some other bookmarks, and mostly what I've done is frayed the edges, so I have like that pretty professional looking side stitch on the side. That I'm interested. I want to know how that happens. So more to come. But yes, so plans, haul, kindness. That is all for this video. I have taken you through all of my whips, all of my finishes, most of my plans, and then we shall do like all fun people do and randomly start things as I feel like starting them. I have my plan starts, and then I have all of the things that I'm like, oh, that's fine, let's start it. Just for funsies. Anyways, so if you enjoyed this video, feel free to, well, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and subscribe and like it. Feel free to comment below if you want to know more about something, or if I forgot to include anything. Feel free to let me know. I don't think I have any other things, except, oh yes, I do have more things. I have a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, because I've been watching some people and so I mentioned the Thread Gremlins. If you haven't seen them, go ahead and watch them. And then I've actually had some pretty fun interactions with some other people and channels on YouTube, so I thought I might as well like give them a shout out and be like, you should go and check them out. So the Oatmeal Stitcher, I guess she recently found me because she started commenting on all of my videos, and thank you so much for that. It was so much fun to actually like comment and interact with someone on these things. Feel free to continue. I enjoy doing it, even if I don't get back to you right away. Sometimes I have to go back and watch my video because I don't remember what I talked about. This is what happens when you don't script out anything that you're doing. You're just literally going as it goes. Yes. So the Oatmeal Stitcher, I saw one of her videos, super impressed. Like she was, what was it? She was taking her paralegal classes for the Air Force. So I think she's in the Air Force, and she has a couple of kids, and she was still managing to like get some cross stitch done while doing all of the training that she needed to be a paralegal. So kudos to you. Great job. Looking forward to seeing your next video. And then Mega Stitches, Milka from Mega Stitches. She recently started doing this Uno game on Instagram. I'm not participating in it because I have enough stars and stuff. And I don't plan that far in advance. I also don't count my stitches, so there's also that issue. But if you enjoy like counting stitches and you need someone to help you out, get motivated, and like work on different projects, great person to go and check out on Instagram. She has some pretty neat stuff that she's been doing. And I think in this last video she did mention that she's having kind of a Advent gift exchange with people who sign up through Google Sheets. So if you're interested in doing that, go check her out, and I will try and link her video below so that you can find exactly which video tells you about like the actual gift exchange and how to do it. Let's see, I mentioned Thread Gremlins, and they're things I am behind on their videos, but love watching them. They're great fun to go ahead and watch, and they have some really, really interesting pieces that they're working on, and because it's like 3 people with very different, but very similar, like different but similar, same genre sometimes, but not quite the same taste, you get a huge range of like different stitching projects to go look at, which is really cool. And then the Hathaway Stitchers, they're in their most recent floss tube. There was the Giraffe that Amity got, and then there was Aaron's husband's Giraffe version, and I think we all need to let Amity know that she needs to stitch both versions. If you just look at the thumbnail for their most recent floss tube, you can see the Giraffe. It is great. I do want to see that stitched up. That would be marvelous. And then the final one that I recently watched is Beck Stitches Everything. I think it was like number 8. She's just finishing Halloween, so I don't know what she's doing next, but she had a good number of different things that she was stitching. It was kind of cool. So those are the ones that I wanted to mention. I don't think I have anything else. So I remember to talk about people. If you enjoyed watching this, like, subscribe, comment if you can. Yeah, I think that's it. I will hopefully see you in a month. And I'm gonna try and put a knitting extra in between now and my next making podcast. So I did a cross-stitchy one last time. So I went through and basically was like, here's all of the patterns and things that I've gotten like thrifted that were either started or finished by someone else, and introduced that to everybody. So I want to do something with knitting next, but I don't know what people would be interested in seeing. So obviously I finished a number of things. We could go through some of the sweaters that I've knit. I don't know. Give me ideas below. And if nobody gives me any ideas before next time, I'm going to randomly choose a knitting topic to talk about. Because I am trying to be a little bit more consistent. Maybe a little bit. Anyways. So I hope you've enjoyed this. And I hope you have a great day, a great weekend, a great week. In fact, have a great month. And look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!